When was the first time you started smelling a little bit of success?
Of course, without a doubt, it was when I released Every Day I'm Hustling.
Every day I'm hustling.
Who intimidated you?
When I came into the game, I told myself I would step on the feet of whoever I felt was the most disrespectful, and that's what I did with 50 Cent.
I was worried about you when your health got challenged.
You know, I had to change just the way I was living and get rest. I gotta be honest, my mom, my sister, me, that's the empire.
Who would you love to have dinner with?
As long as we can have Jamaican beef patties and blunt.
Every day I'm hustling.
Hey family, it's Carlos Watson. Got a big show today. Rick Ross, the boss, is stopping by. Now, of course, we're talking about music, we're talking about business, talking about cars, but we're also talking about Biggie and Nipsey. You don't want to miss this show. Hey Rick, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Feeling good.
You look good.
Oh, man. You shining yourself, brother. You shining.
Now, rumor has it that Carroll City was your high school.
You better believe it. You better believe it. You know, the rumor's something else. You know
Okay, I remember those Carroll City teams. You're probably too young for it, but I remember those Carroll City teams from the 80s. Those basketball teams. They used to play Hialeah, Miami Lakes. You remember those teams?
Oh, man, of course. I was hearing about them since I was a youngster. You know, I came out in 94, but I've been a chief at heart since I was a baby, you know?
Yeah, I'm from Homestead originally.
Homestead, what it do? It's all love, baby.
Yeah.
It's all love.
Yeah. Now, I saw Mississippi was originally home. Is that right?
Yeah, without a doubt. What it was is my father from Florida, my mom was from Mississippi.
Now, what were you like as a kid? Were people predicting music or business success when you were a kid or no?
I just used to do a lot of running around. You know, they told me it seemed like I may have had a little overexcitement problem, you know, something like that. But I just think I just wouldn't stop until I achieved or accomplished whatever the goals were. You know what I mean? And I'm still like that right now.
So you were confident even as a youngster?
Yes, I was. I understood at a young age that I had to be creative and do things different. When I was in the classroom, I realized when they were asking A equals X, and I was look around and everybody else knew the answers, but I didn't. You know, and I genuinely wanted to know. I was one of them, the kids that wanted to know every answer to every question if I could. But it was a lot of times I didn't. So I found myself, you know, having to sit back and just really, you know, kind of look deep and say, you know, I got to find other ways for me to win. I got to find other ways for me to, you know, come up with these answers. And it's not going to be right here in this book.
But who encouraged you? Because you know a lot of people come to that place and unfortunately they don't keep pushing forward for whatever reason. And so was it your mom in your ear? Was it other people in the neighborhood? Was it books?
No, I believe it came from both my mom and my dad and everything I seen going on around me.
Right.
Because my dad was the first one that ever taught me, son, I don't complain because you get nothing from it. And for some reason, I still repeat that to myself 2 or 3 times a day right now. And of course, I watched my mom, how hard she worked. She had 2 jobs, and on Wednesday, she had a 3rd. So I knew, you know, I was never too good to not go get a job, or hustle, or grind, or whatever it was. And then once I understood the difference from riding in the Buick we had to my friend that was 4 houses down, they had that SEL 500 diesel Benz. They had the wipers on the headlights, not just the windshield, but the headlights.
Right. So when was the first time you started smelling a little bit of success? When was the first time in your mind you were close to something that felt like those wipers?
Me coming into my senior year, making all city, playing football, I made all day. It was a lot of big boys, a lot of dudes went to the NFL, Shamari Roll, a lot of dudes from that class. But I made all city. I actually got a scholarship to Albany State College. So I think that was the first time I really felt like somebody walked out of the audience and said, we want to do business with you. And that's when I looked and said, oh man. And so I went to Albany State and I stayed for the summer, but me chasing my music career was what was really in my heart. So I walked away from that and I just told myself I could never quit for nothing. And that's what I did.
But you and I both know that Miami's drug game was dangerous in those days.
Big time.
South Florida has the dubious honor of being the cocaine and marijuana capital of the United States.
And even though people talk about it in music, a lot of people didn't make it.
A lot of people didn't make it.
How worried were you coming up that not only might there be money there, but there might also be things you didn't want to be true on the other side of that?
I'm gonna be honest, growing up in Carol City, in the heart of Carol City, the dudes that I got to see, actually, the moves that I actually seen made, I lost the fear of death at an early age.
You truly lost it, or you numbed yourself to it?
Either way, either what it was. When you're in the 9th grade and you see, good dudes lose their life, not just dudes that were out robbing and, this and that. We know you either gonna get killed by whoever you trying to rob, whatever it is, to go to prison. That was a no-brainer. In middle school, we knew that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The dudes that I grew up with, Kenneth Williams, he was on America's Most Wanted. I'm talking about the real show. We ain't talking about, YouTube. We talking about for real. And that's, one of the dudes that believed in my music career, that encouraged me. So when we talked about certain things, I knew, these dudes haven't seen what I've seen. Nah. And not that we even finna glorify that on the highest form. I'm just telling you it is what it is. This MIA, this Miami.
So what did that do to you, Rozay? What do you think seeing that and losing that fear of death that early, what did that do to you?
It just made me, when I said we have an opportunity to be great, let's be great. Let's not accept no excuses for failure. None. We have an opportunity to just not only represent and do something we love to do, but do it on behalf of homies that can't even speak for themselves. Kenneth Williams being in Leavenworth Penitentiary, that's under the ground. He haven't seen a tree in over 15 years. He haven't heard a bird. And these are the same dudes that genuinely told me, man, you could do this, man. Do this, man. Stay out of trouble. Go get a job. Do this, man. Those are the dudes that told me that I could do it, that believed in me. And this is in a city where it's not many people that's gonna tell you you're great. There's not many people that's gonna tell you, hey man, you can have your own show, man. I believe in you. It's just not gonna happen.
Problem was I never was a prodigy. Possibly my biggest flaw was lack of modesty. Diabolical means, never knew college degrees. Sipping coffee at a cafe on college, capiche. Soul being sold and still on a leash. Roger Goodell, boy, he in the corniche.
And who was helping you early on in your music career? Because I know that's one of the things I know that you're proud of, is that you reach back and you help a lot of other people.
Right.
Who was helping you early on?
Man, it was guys like Tony Draper, that was the CEO of Suave House Records. I was the biggest fan of 8 Ball and MJG, and the producer T-Mix, that was from Memphis.
Now, I didn't hear you mention Uncle Luke at all. He was never part of that?
Oh, most definitely. I never got to meet Uncle Luke until much later in my career, but he's the one who planted that seed and showed me you can be the CEO, you can own the record label, you can manufacture the records, and you could sign the artists, and that's who I watched the closest.
What was that moment when you know your music had made it? Because I've heard people talk before, either about the first time they heard their music on the radio, the first time they heard some car passing by and they heard their music playing. What was that moment for you when you had that?
I was underground releasing mixtapes a long time. I was writing music for other artists for a long time. So over a long period of time, I was, seeing little, shines, bright lights flash here and there. But of course, for me, it was without a doubt when I released Every Damn Hustle.
I ain't petty player, we buy the whole thing. See, most of my homies hustle, they still do their thing. My roof back, my money ride. I'm on the pedal, show you what I'm running like. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
That's when, without a doubt, I went and sat down in the corner and said, it's on now.
Who intimidated you? Did you ever find yourself intimidated?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't.
Not one time. Not Jay-Z, not Kanye, not Master, nobody.
Nah. And as a matter of fact, when I came into the game, I told myself I would step on the feet of whoever I felt was the most disrespectful, and that's what I did with 50 Cent. I went out my way just to step on his sneakers. He had on a pair of those ugly Reeboks, and I made sure lyrically, musically, I stepped on those things and I smeared them most definitely. And that's what I told myself I would do just because it was in my heart.
Who did you respect? Because I appreciate a little bit like Mike Tyson in boxing. What I've always appreciated about Mike is that he's a student of the game. If you talk to Mike, Mike will tell you about fights in the 1920s and the 1950s. Right. He'll tell you about a particular round, a particular swing. He knows it all. He's a little bit like Kobe was that way in basketball. So I know you're that kind of student. Who do you respect? Who's on your Mount Rushmore of musicians?
You know, the Mount Rushmores, of course, to me was Big, Notorious B.I.G.
Remember rapping Duke, the hard, you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far.
Tupac, and of course I would, go all across the spectrum to Tribe Called Quest.
You got BBD all on your bedroom wall, but I'm above the rim and this is how I ball. A gritty little something on a New York street. This is how I represent over this here beat.
Back to the West Coast to Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, and of course what JT Money did, Luke did, Trick Daddy did.
Give me a break and a beat I can vibe with. A Nick Quest video with a fine bitch. About 55 spins and a mic check and yo plate my shit. You don't play, we take it to the house.
That's just that 305. Believe it or not, I was a fan of 50 Cent music as well, but I just knew I had to step on his sneakers. Those ugly sneakers.
What about T.I.? I didn't hear you mention T.I., and I remember early on, you two got into it a little bit.
Yeah, T.I. was just, he was on fire, in the South. And I told you that was just my intention coming in the game. I just wanted to make sure I, just shook the up. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who I was. And, that's where I come from. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem, And Tip, I actually was a fan of his music, so I had to make sure I had his attention too.
Ross, take me back to Biggie. What do you think when you think about Biggie? What comes to your mind?
I just think about a whole new level of class, a whole new level of wordplay. He was just a witty guy, you know what I'm saying? It would be funny. And for me, he was, talking about getting money. And for Rozay, I knew that's what let's get to the money, man. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna be a lot of dudes talking about this. It's gonna be girls shaking butts. It's gonna be, a lot of dudes talking about killing. I wanna talk about getting some money. I wanna have some real estate, man. This is a certain way we need to be living, man. We done ate enough noodles. Now we need that rainbow trout, baby. We need them lemon pepper wings, baby. You feel me?
Hey, what's the golden meal for you? When somebody's taking good care of you, what's a golden meal? What do you love? What do you love to eat?
Of course, lemon pepper wings from Wingstop is number one. Yeah. If I just got back from Dubai a couple days ago on the flight home, of course, all I saw. That's all I saw was them lemon pepper wings and that Parmesan on the side.
Now, I was worried about you a couple years ago.
Right.
When your health got challenged.
Rick Ross was hospitalized early Thursday morning, March 1st, when police and emergency teams were called to the scene after he was found unresponsive in his Florida home.
Has that changed you? Are you living different in any way?
Yeah, most definitely. I had to change just the way I was living and get rest, go to sleep. I just wouldn't go to sleep. For many, 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 many years. And even right now, after sitting with doctors, this and that. I've never been able to sleep more than 4 or 5 hours at a time. Every 3 hours I get up and I just walk around, look around and go get back in the bed. I'm one of those. It came a point where I began to have seizures because my body just couldn't take it anymore.
They calling it pandemic when it's really life. The only way to separate them and mice. Until you seem successful, you consider roguish. That's why you seen that boy pull up in that Lotus.
Hey, talk to me a little bit about this car show that you have coming up.
I'm having my first annual car show. You know, I have a huge car collection, bikes, vans, and we pulling them all out. And I'm inviting, you know, car collectors, car lovers from all around the U.S. Come on out, register. It's finna go down, and man, it's finna be a spectacle.
Now, where's it gonna be, and what are your 3 favorite cars?
It's gonna be on the Promised Land, which is my estate in Fayetteville, right outside of Atlanta. My 3 favorite cars, one is gonna be my 57 Renzel, which is a 57 Bel Air. I have maybe a little over $500,000 in that car. My second car behind that may be my 59 Impala, only one owner, totally original. You know, it's just impeccable. And my third, I'm not even sure. You know, I'm over 100 cars. I'm over 100 strong.
Hey, talk to me about Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. He was a living legend.
I'm a urban legend, South Central in a certain section. Can't express how I curb the tactics. Guesses, evidence of a divine presence. Blessings, held me down at times I seem reckless.
You know, I got to meet him at a very early stage of his career. Me going out in California, we developed an early bond. We stayed in touch. We spoke on music. We spoke outside of music because we both were intrigued by a lot of the same things, making investments, doing this, doing that, you know, and just accepting the fact we didn't have a lot of places to turn or people to talk to, people to trust when you're just a young, uneducated entrepreneur who's beginning to get some money. So what do you do next? And we used to just share those conversations.
How do you see what happened there?
Nipsey Hussle was murdered in broad daylight outside a clothing store that he owned in South Los Angeles.
Oh man, it was most definitely so unfortunate. Being comfortable in the place you should be the most comfortable at, which is home, your neighborhood, your community. We gotta protect our leaders. We gotta empower, you know, our leaders and protect them, you know? And it was just unfortunate. My brother lost his life right there. Praying that a lot of youngsters learned from that and understood the wisdom that the brother shared, not just the great music, not just the dope music, but his entrepreneurial spirit and how he brought it back to the community.
Who's your most unexpected mentor when it comes to business? Because I do admire the way that for
my
mom.
My mom. Yeah, better believe it. My mom. That's the empire. My mom, my sister, me. My sister, she has more degrees than I can even tell you. She was helping my dad do taxes by the time she was 12 years old. Like my mom, she was a real go-getter, real hustler. She's very well educated. But like I said, on Wednesday, she had a third job. So I understood how to go get it. Okay, ain't no problem.
I'm hearing you say that you love business, including real estate, and that you enjoy the game as much as the result. And clearly your family, not as many people have that many deep passions running through their lives at the same time.
And I believe that's where the majority of my success comes from, because I couldn't accomplish or achieve this level of success by myself if it wasn't for my mother, if it wasn't for my sister, if it wasn't for the bond that we have. Straight up and down, I couldn't do it.
If you were whispering in the ear of a youngster today who was like, I don't want what you tell everybody else. I want, in fact, what you don't tell everybody else. Here are the 2 or 3 things I want you to know about how to make it. What would you put on that list? What would you tell that person?
Honesty is priceless, man. You gotta be an honest individual to really create a bond. Because believe it or not, there's bonds that a lot of people don't even know about. There's levels of conversations that you could have with somebody that's been sitting next to you for your whole life that you've never even held because you don't share that bond. It's certain things that someone may know that they just won't share with you because you don't share that bond. You gotta take those restrictions off. You gotta be able to be honest and be able to say, look, this is what I wanna talk about. And man, sometimes you'll be blown away by what you can learn in a 20-second conversation, man.
What else do you want young people to know? Because again, I appreciate the way in which I feel, at least from the outside, that you are sharing. I can see you sharing, whether it's in your book, whether it's in social media, etc. It feels like you're reaching out to other people. What else do you want other people to think about if they're gonna learn from you and learn from your journey?
Ultimately, living life, this is just a short moment we have, but make yourself happy. make yourself happy. I get up on social media and I show, the certain things around me because that's what thousands of people DM me every morning. Rozay, this is what we want to know. This is what I want to know. Man, this is what's going to make me happy. Show it to me, Rozay. And that's what I do. But just find a way to make yourself happy and not saying the things around you or the things you purchase may make you happy, but whatever it is that makes you happy, find a way to make yourself happy. Wake up and go hard. Go above and beyond. I go above and beyond. If it's something I was supposed to do 3 times today, I want to do it 8. I want to over-deliver.
Hey, Rozay, before I let you go, I want to do rapid fire with you. You mind if I hit you with rapid fire?
That's too easy.
Greatest 3 athletes of all time.
LeBron James, D. Wade, Michael Jordan.
Your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time, Coming to America.
Coming to America, 1 or 2?
1.
Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, you! Yes! Yes! You too!
It's still 1, I gotta be honest. As much as I enjoyed them filming 2 at the Promised Land Estate, yes.
We have just been informed King Akeem has returned from America.
I became the real King Zamunda.
The most beautiful place that you've ever been to?
Nice, France.
The celebrity fan of Rick Ross that might surprise people the most?
Oh man, Robert Kraft. We was on a red carpet and we ended up next to each other taking a photo. And he said, "Can I show you something you won't believe?" He pulled out his phone, pulled up Rick Ross playlist, and I'm like, what the hell what you doing with this?
If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would you love to have dinner with?
I would love to have dinner with B.I.G. would be one, Bob Marley. As long as we could have Jamaican beef patties and the blunt. R.I.P. to Bob.
Hey, Rozay, I appreciate all your time. Thank you.
Oh, man, anytime, brother, anytime. Rozay, always here for you, baby.
I could see him as like a little kid, like, riding around in his dad's car and then seeing that other car and being like, wait, Daddy, now we got to figure out how to get back. And you could tell like certain people are visualizers.
Yeah.
And it was like vivid to him. And I think that's why he's such a great creator, because the way he moves and feels and like senses things.
He actually motivated me so much I was compelled to write down. He said, "Wake up and go hard, be happy and over deliver." And I was like, I'm writing that down. Maybe it was because it was so early, but I was like, go hard. And I was pounding my coffee. I was like, yeah, very inspiring.
Anna, what did you like about the boss?
She's like the blood smoking. That's it.
Yeah, I like that he was super humble. I mean, like you could tell that you can just talk to him about anything and he'll have, something to say that's super valuable back. I heard that just the fact that he cuts his own yard.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass.
Like, that's crazy. How many acres did he say?
What did he say? 400.
Oh my God. Like, that's a week worth of like just driving around.
He's not lying. He took a chainsaw out the other day, was cutting down trees in the backyard.
Oh yeah, he was like, you guys think I'm gonna pay somebody to cut my trees down? Like,
they were charging him $1,000 a tree, so he did it himself.
So he got back there with the chainsaw and was doing it himself.
Hey, there's no way but to feel good when you're talking to Rick Ross, the boss. I love that conversation. I'm hungry for some lemon pepper wings. I love what he had to say about going hard and hustling. I was surprised but understood what he said about losing that fear of death and what that's done to him. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else he does in this world. A grinder for all of us to learn from. Hey, I hope you are loving this show. I hope you know we're always going to try and bring you special people like Rick Ross. Don't miss it. Every weekday, we got something for you.